You want to play a power scrapper in a solo scenario in Guild Wars 2 PvE? This build is amazing for that. You have crazy burst damage, crazy sustained damage, while also being very defensive with a lot of barrier, a lot of self-healing and crazy boon buffing capabilities as well. Sounds awesome, isn't it? Yeah, it is amazing. Be sure to watch the whole video to not miss out a thing about this amazing build. As always, special shout out to all my dear supporters that help me keep the lights on. And now without much further ado, let's jump straight in. The gear is really easy. You want to go with full berserker armor, and you want to go with Superior Rune of the Dragon Hunter for the most amount of power damage. This is just my setup, link to it in the description down below. Also the exotic version of this. Just want to mention here, you can go for Marauder pieces, you can go for Demolisher pieces, you can even put in some Commander pieces, whatever you like. I just like this very aggressive setup with Berserker armor. The important part for this build is to reach 45% crit chance without any Fury. This is the thing that you want to reach. And then you use your hammer. Hammer is really good on this build, of course. You could also use other power weapons, that's just my choice here. I personally in this setup use a Demolisher's hammer so that I get some toughness as well, to have a little bit more, let's say, effective HP. Also with Superior Sigil of Force and Superior Sigil of Strength. If you can afford infusions, you would go with power infusions, but of course they are not necessary. For your relic, as very often the case in a power build, you want to run Relic of Sakiros. Just some more sustain, you have a lot of barrier application, and that also gives you healing, just the best option. If you don't need it, you can go for Relic of Fireworks for really nice damage buff, but you will lose your healing uptime. So keep that in mind. Now for the trinkets. For the trinkets, I would go full dragon pieces. So you get some vitality of that, and you don't need that much crit chance because you only need to reach 45%. Now let's cover the consumables and food. So for consumables, I would always go with Superior Sharpening Stones or something that gives similar amounts of stats. And for your food, I would recommend going for Peppercorn Crusted Sweet Steaks because of the minus 10% incoming damage and the nice power and ferocity. If you don't have access to a standard food, you can go for bowls of sweet and spicy butternut squash soup, but you lose the minus 10% incoming damage, which is sometimes very worthwhile to get because obviously you are a power build and you might be a little bit more squishy than a celestial build. By the way, if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. But now let's talk about the traits. So for the traits, you run Firearms, Explosives and Scrapper. This is quite similar, this setup, to my Condition solo scrapper. Be sure to check out this video if you're interested as well. Link is in the top right hand corner in the description below. This is just the power version, so you take Firearms for a lot of crit chance. This is not important, but here you get crit chance, you get some Fury application. When you inflict bleeding on an enemy, quite nice. Then you get some more crit chance while you're in 450 range to the enemy. Together, those two traits, together with this one, you get permanent Fury and you get some ferocity and you reach 100% crit rate all the time if you are standing close to the enemy. Really, really strong. And then of course you get equal and opposite reaction. That's a somewhat new trait. Gain quickness and stability when you disable an enemy on a 1 second ICD. You have a lot of disables, so you get a lot of quickness and a lot of stability from that. I think it's just really, really strong also for the stability. But you have even more quickness access even if you just spam your skills. We will get to it in a second. Then you have Explosives. That's your power damage trait line. Just more damage, more vulnerability, and more damage per vulnerability. You get more damage increases while your health is above 75%, which should always be the case, or you're dead because you have so much barrier, you have so much healing, you always instantly heal back up. So it's very uncommon that you are below this threshold, so quite nice. Then you get some more ferocity stacks, quite nice. And Big Boomer, 15% damage increase, and that's the cool part here. You also get some passive heal, 200 per second that you can permanently upkeep. Just quite nice, more passive heals. And now we get to Scrapper. Scrapper is really interesting. So you get some super speed when you use your healing skill or your F1. And you get some, that's the cool part here, a percentage of your strike damage is converted into barrier. 5%, so you get 4% converted into healing with the Sakiros Relic and 5% into barrier. So you can upkeep a lot of barrier, a lot of heals, really, really strong. And you take this trait, together with this trait, you have permanent quickness uptime easily. Just using some combo finishers gives you some quickness, also some might, and you get some concentration based on your power, so it's really, really strong. If you really want to go for the maximum amount of damage, you could go for Applied Force, but the problem is might stacking would then be a little bit of a problem, so that's why I take it, even though the quickness uptime is insane already. Those two in conjunction also give you a lot of stability, might, quickness. Just two traits cover like 3 boons already. And then we get to the interesting part here with the first and second column here, because they are actually quite interchangeable. You can go for what depending on the needs. So the most aggressive setup would be Object in Motion. So you get 5% more damage for each boon if you have stability, 5%, if you have swiftness, 5%, and super speed, 5%. So in total you can get 15%, quite nice. You can actually upkeep that quite easily. And if you want to go for even more damage, you would go for either mass momentum, because that gives you then some stability on your F5, and therefore you can upkeep the object in motion 5% more often. Or you go for gyroscopic acceleration, because then you get more super speed, and we have a lot of wells, so your gyros give all super speed, and therefore you can upkeep the super speed more often. So both of them are quite nice depending on the situation. And if you want to get more CC or more barrier, you go for this trait. So all three are viable, change them to the current situation what you need. The interesting part is object in motion gives of course the most amount of damage, but if you want to get some more protection, which is a little bit missing in this build, you can easily use this and lose some damage, but get a lot of protection uptime just by using your healing skills and F1. And then of course, if you don't need protection and don't want to go for the highest damage, just need some more passive recovery, go for this one, because that is really strong. You get a lot of healing passively from super speed and swiftness, so you get even more passive heals on top of all your like active heals while doing damage. So this is like 6 traits that you can change depending on the situation. This would be my setup for the most amount of damage, but you can easily change to what you actually need. Let's now cover the utility skills and weapon skills. So the auto attack is quite strong, especially if you finish the auto attack chain. Then the 2 skill is obviously as well as the auto attack melee range, but it reflects misses, is a whirl finish and does some heavy damage. Really, really nice. I would always pair that with my grenade kit, so always use the 2 skill here and then use the 2 skill in the grenade kit as well as the 4 and the 5. Of course the grenade auto attack is also quite nice, but the 2, 4 and 5 are the most damaging ones. And then the 3 skill is a nice evade, it's also leap finisher. So 2 times leap finishers, which you can use in your 5 skill to get some CC procs, and therefore get also a lot of trait procs and quickness of course as well. The 5 skill does some nice damage, is a nice CC, and is because the lightning field will create the dazing bolts. And then you have shock shield, just some panic button that gives you barrier and blocks some attacks, and is also some nice damage. So always use your attacks. We will get to the rotation very shortly, but all attacks are very useful here. Then your healing skill is always medic gyro, just for some super speed and some water field and some healing. Like I said, grenade kit really important. Then you have blast gyro for some nice CC, and again combo finisher and some might and super speed, really, really nice. And then you have shredder gyro for a very huge amount of damage, while also being whirl finisher again to get some quickness and some super speed. The elite skill is a little bit flexible. I like to run another gyro for more super speed access and even for some stealth if I want to disengage or something, but you can easily swap that to mortar kit or even supply crate, whatever you find necessary. Depends a bit. There are multiple scenarios where you can go for example, more range with mortar kit, but this is just a setup that I like a lot. The F1 is obviously another water field and is some super speed access again, and gives you baseline some protection, so that's quite nice. If you need more protection, you can go for the trait that I mentioned earlier. Then grenade barrage, obviously really strong damaging skill from range as well. Bypass coating, really nice stun break, again super speed, so you see how much super speed access you have with this build. Spare capacitor is quite nice for some CC again, and it's another lightning field, so you can use a combo field there. And then the function gyro is again combo field, it's a blast finisher and gives some super speed. So really, really strong what you can do with this. So for the rotation, I would engage with one of my not damaging gyros so that you get some super speed. And then you use your thunderclap into your hammer 2 and swap into your grenade kit, use the grenades that I mentioned, use your aggressive gyros and use your 3 skill on hammer so that you get some combo fields, and then you use the grenade barrage into another hammer 2, and then of course repeat your auto attack chains until you get the grenade kits back up, and always use for example your whirl finishers of your hammer 2 for example in your combo fields to get some more quickness up. And that's the rotation. Just use your hammer skills 2, 3 and 5 of cooldown, as well as of course the grenade 2, 4 and 5, and keep the hammer 4 for blocks, and that's the whole rotation. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You can see how strong it is here in the background. If you like this video, if you like this build, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again to all my supporters, and I hope to see you all in the next video.